Thank you, Ásdís, and thank you for the upgrade. I'm still just the Deputy Managing Director, so very nice of you. Good morning, everyone, and I think it's still morning. It's a privilege to be the last before the coffee break. I promise to be quick. I'm here to talk about the EEA grants and the what, the why, and the how. This is a picture you have seen many times today, I guess. We have the EEA grants, they cover the 15 beneficiary states. During this period, we are implementing programs in 14 states. I unfortunately don't have the time to explain why we are not implementing our programs in Hungary, but for those who are interested, they can look us up. The total funding is 2.8 billion for this period. That's divided between the Norway grants and the EEA grants. The EEA grants are 1.5 billion and the Norway grants are 1.3. The criteria for the eligibility criteria for the beneficiary states is that they have gross national income per person of less than 90% of the EU average. As you can see on the slide, we are implementing 97 programs in 23 program areas, which I will touch upon a little bit later on. Don't know how well you see this, but this is just a brief overview of how the funds are divided, or the grants, between the countries. Poland is obviously the largest beneficiary state with just over 800 million euros. And then Bulgaria and Romania follow suit. And it goes down to Malta receiving 8 million euros. Just to explain, we work through funding periods. And this is the, apart from the initial years from 94, of course, where we had a totally different setup. But since 2004, we have been working through funding periods, and there you can see the comparison and the increase of the contribution. In the first period, 2004 to 2009, it was 1.3, and it has been steadily rising since. I think we can move on. This is a very delicate slide, of course. We have the next funding period is being negotiated between the donor states and the EU. But in 2021, the donor states, Norway, Iceland, Liechtenstein, and the EU agreed on the continued need to reduce the economic and social disparities in the EEA. And in June last year, the negotiation started, and they are ongoing and progressing. So why do we have these grants? They are rooted in the EEA agreement, of course, where the contracting parties agreed that there was a need to reduce the economic and social disparities between their regions. This was foreseen in when the agreement was negotiated. Ever since, we have updated the Protocol 38 for each funding period. And in 2004, we added another objective to the grants and this contribution, which is the bilateral aspect. And this is a really important thing, because the bilateral aspect of the grants really separates the grants from other cohesive funding measures in the area. This, as I said, this second objective was first included in the protocol for the previous funding in 2009 and 2014. These two overall objectives, they are repeated in our regulations and the Blue Book, as we call it, which is our strategy document, and all programs must contribute to both overall objectives. So in short, the grants are about more equality and more cooperation. Just now briefly on how we do this. This is the organizational setup, how we interact, how the donors interact with the beneficiary states. Everything in blue is donor orientated, everything in gray is beneficiary state orientated. And there in the middle is the Secretariat, the FMO, the Financial Mechanism Office, which is under the donor states, and serves sort of as an interlink between the donors and the beneficiary states. I'm not going into details of this slide, but important aspect to it is that it really demonstrates that we are funding through programs. We have a program operator for each program in the beneficiary states, which supervises the project promoter, and the project promoter has a project partner in many cases in the donor states, and the program operator has a donor program partner and an international partner organization. So this is the organizational setup. This is the blue book I mentioned. It demonstrates the priority sectors that we have, or the donors negotiated with the EU. And under the priority sectors, we have the program areas. So this is sort of the menu that we operate according to in each and every one of the beneficiary states. Of course, or this is the menu we pick from for each and every beneficiary state. So here we have divided the program and fund allocation per sector. As you can see, we have the largest contribution for priority sector 1, which is innovation and research. We have the culture, civil society, and good governance, which we have categorized priority sector 4 with 440 million, and so on. And the bilateral funds are here represented under other, 103 million, but they are not counted within the programs, although each project and programs must contribute also to the bilateral object. Here we have made an attempt to sort of categorize all the program areas. So we have this sort of a slogan or a mission statement, together for a green, competitive, and inclusive Europe. Unfortunately, the slide does not show the percentages, but in this rough division between the grants, the inclusive part accounts for 46%, the competitive part for 36%, and the green part for 18%. Although I'm not in a position to predict the future, but I would guess the green part would grow in the next mechanism. I will just skip very quickly through the examples of the projects. We have, we'll come later to the website that we have and the data portal, but we have over 6,000 projects now being implemented in the 14 beneficiary states that we have programs running in. And these projects are, of course, quite diverse. They touch upon many of these things. Here we have marked them with the color of this is the inclusive, an example of an inclusive project. Here we have an example of competitive project in Poland. And you can see also we have a donor partner for this project and all of these projects. And here is a green project in Bulgaria, which also has a Norwegian project partner. cut it even shorter than I had anticipated, I will direct you to our website, which is quite comprehensive, and I can definitely recommend our data and results portal. It's connected to our database, so it's live each and every time. All the data in the portal is directly connected to the results happening on the ground. And of course, our media library with many interesting stories about the implementation of the projects. So enjoy your coffee, and thank you very much.